Hi,
Oh.
I'm Jonathan Rogers from Grinding Gear Games.
Oh no.
And welcome
I guessed
to
wrong
GG
on the...
Live.
I guessed
Today we're going
wrong.
to show you an exclusive reveal of what's coming next for Path of Exile 2. Twitch drops are enabled on today's live stream, so you'll be able to claim your Sun Priest's Incineration rare finisher effects by following the instructions below.
Does that work in
With that out
PoE
of
1, by the way? I think
let's
it does.
get started. It's time to give you a teaser of what's coming in Path of Exile 2, the third edict.
Dude, we already lost the... Dude, we lost the free... We lost the free space in the middle, dude. This is like looking bad for my bingo.
I have called you here to save our people, to save our way. Over the ages, we have known pain like no other, but we endured.
Where do you think we can put the bingo?
Mighty. Now, outsiders dishonor our shores, and we have stood by, doing nothing. Hear my voice, ancestors.
Smaller? For real? Can't you just not read it now?
The true way. I understand.
GG can't read it? I mean, what if we just... Boom. Oh no, they're just showing like the evade roll, man. That's a lot of bosses.
The true will.
No movement to spare. Roll slop, roll slop. Ooh, Act 4. 3 interlude acts. 35 new areas. 24 new bosses. Support gem overhaul. Massive skill rework. 25 new endgame maps. Sprinting. Oh no, not the sprinting. New trade system. Oh shit, wait. The new trade system? I think the auction house is in. Dude, the auction house is in, bro. Yeah, I saw gold, but I also saw... Yeah, I saw 20 chaos, 9k gold. I think the auction house is actually in. I mean, maybe PoE 1 will have the auction house on next league. Bug the Abyss items in PoE 2? That'd be hilarious, bro.
Now, as you can see, there's a lot going on, and we have a lot to reveal today. We'll start by going over Act 4.
Oh shit,
the
Abyss.
Next chapter in the Path of Exile
I
2
see Abyss.
storyline. But that's not all.
All classes buffed. Wait, all classes buffed, dude.
Which means we're removing cruel difficulty too. After that, we'll be going through the massive changes to characters. I'm super excited to show you how I've overhauled
all
the entire
classes
support
buffed.
system, added new skills, and yes, there are buffs. Next, we'll go over the Rise of the Abyssal, this season's exclusive league mechanic, and talk about the new rewards, crafting systems, areas, and bosses that it adds. After that, it's on to changes.
Wait, new
making to the
crafting
endgame.
system.
Then it's time to talk about items, crafting, and
New
oh yeah,
endgame
trade.
encounters.
That's going to be a big one. We'll then
Buy
go over
items
the
when
new
sellers
support
are
effects
offline,
and finish
dude.
up with a live
Wait, I'm
Q&A session
pogging.
where Ziggy D will ask Path of Exile 2's game
Currency,
directors
wait, crafting
myself
changes,
and
high
Mark
tier
your
currency
questions from
items.
Twitch chat.
Essence changing and
And
new
after
omens.
that, at 4 p.m. Pacific, hatch
Wait, look
notes.
at this.
They're not quite complete, but they should give you some nice details to chew on.
Look at this, bro.
We've got a lot to cover today, but first, another announcement. When the third edict launches on the 29th, we'll be having a free weekend for Path of Exile 2. That's right, Path of Exile 2 will be free for the first time without requiring an early access key. The free weekend will end on September the 1st, so you'll have plenty of time to give the game a try. Alright, let's get started with Act 4.
Act
The story
4.
continues from the end of Act 3. Doryani has agreed to help you find an ancient weapon that can be used against corruption, the instrument of the Third Edict. The weapon was broken in ages past, but he believes that the pieces may be found in the Karui archipelago, the home of the Karui tribes. You will need to journey to King's March,
Oh shit, King's
hire a
March.
ship, and set sail.
King's March.
When you open the map, you can choose to sail anywhere you like. Act 4
We're back,
is completely
bro.
non-linear, and you can visit the islands in any order you choose. Will you visit the pristine beaches of Whakapanu Island? The Karui whisper of a curse that afflicts all who travel there. Perhaps it's related to the weapon you seek. Or maybe you will visit the volcanic shores of the Isle of Kin. The Kin have been more restless recently, mining for sulfite and driven by some dark force. Perhaps you will choose to consult with one of the local Karui tribes. Their ancient wisdom could hold clues to finding the third edict.
What's up, Burke?
No matter where you choose
Burke,
to
they
go,
added
you'll find
buying items while
beasts.
offline. Added buying items while people are offline. So that means there's gonna be like auto. There's actually like an auction house, I think.
And battle incredible bosses.
A challenger! Come, Yama sees your soul!
There are 8 islands to discover, each teeming with its own flora and fauna. Act 4 contains over 100
They added
new
King's
monsters,
March to PoE 2. That's your
16
favorite
new
thing.
areas, 12 new bosses, and plenty of other interesting encounters. There's a huge amount to show, but we're not going to spoil too much here. We want to give you a chance to discover it all for yourself. What happens after Act 4? Well, until now you had to repeat the entire campaign again before you could face the endgame. But after adding Act 4, the game is far too long to make you do that. We needed something else to do in between the end of Act 4 and the endgame. So what else could we do? Add 3 new mini-acts, of course, and we're calling them the interludes. The interludes are a set of 3 temporary side stories that will be included in the game until Act 5 is released, that will take you to level 65 where the endgame can begin. The first interlude sends you on a journey back to Ogham. Renly has been leading the efforts to rebuild Ogham Village after the defeat of Count Geonor, but there's a new danger afoot. The nearby town of Halton is surrounded by an impenetrable darkness, and each night their corrupted townfolk emerge to raid the local farmlands. You will discover new areas and new bosses. You'll need to find your way through the darkness.
Oh shit, Wildwood! Wait,
uncover the source of
Affliction!
corruption,
That was Affliction League, I think, bro. I saw Wildwood.
and defeat it.
Yes, I shall dance with their corpse.
And that's just the first interlude.
I saw Wildwood, bro.
The second interlude will have you return to the Vasteri Desert, where Asala has been given a sacred duty. When the skies align, the gifting of water requires a chosen Sekima to meet with the Selkari, guardians
You
of the
want
sacred
louder?
water. But they're nowhere to be found. You will need to track down the Selkari. Find those responsible for disrupting the gifting. Fight even more new bosses. Discover the secrets of the ancient ritual.
Wait, what is that?
Discover new locations, and ultimately help Asala carry out her sacred duty. Now for Interlude 3. As Royal Thaumaturge of the Vaal, Doyani had plans within plans to save his people from the cataclysm perpetuated by Atzeri's lust for power. One such plan involved sealing a group of willing Vaal deep in a great mountain vault near the home of the Asmeri, deep enough to survive the cataclysm. Even though thousands of years have passed, he believes that their descendants may still live, and may be key to defeating the beast. The journey up the mountain will be dangerous. New foes stand in your way. And the further up the mountain you venture, the colder it will become. Explore caves of ice, and enter the vault itself. Who can say what you will find within?
Oh shit, is this double corruption?
The
Was that like a
interludes are
double
6 to 7
corruption
areas
chamber?
each, and generally include 4 boss fights as well. When you put that together with Act 4, that adds up to 35 new areas in the campaign and 24 new bosses. It's worth making clear that the interludes are temporary. When Act 5 and 6 are added, the interludes will be going away. These are side stories after all, but don't worry, the bosses and areas that make up the interlude are all part of the endgame. We're not just going to throw them away. And with that, we don't need cruel difficulty anymore. We do know that it was a pretty big chore to have to play through the campaign multiple times on each character, and this was a huge reason that the campaign could feel like a bit of a slog when playing through again. But we do also have another new feature to address that particular concern as well. So let's talk about
Sprinting. Oh god, what is this?
In 030, when you hold down the dodge roll button, your character will go into a sprint after they finish the roll. This is available on all character classes, and there's no limitation on how long you can sprint for. The
Wait.
primary purpose of this feature is to make navigating areas faster when out of combat. Because of that, if you do take a hit while sprinting, you'll fall to the
Oh
ground.
no, dude. Oh
The best idea is to
no.
use a skill when you see monsters. That'll break you out of the sprint so you can engage with no danger. If you do need to run away
That
from
didn't
monsters,
look good.
just hold spacebar. You won't be vulnerable during the roll, and you're faster while sprinting than basically any monster in the game, allowing you to retreat from
I was
combat.
pogging, dude, and then like I
Sprint
just
is a
see him
pretty
get
significant
knocked and
change to
stunned.
PoE2's gameplay. What I like most about it is that we can accelerate the pace of the game for those who want that, without having to
I mean,
compromise
it's
on
like
PoE2's
slight
more
movement
visceral
speed.
combat systems. Okay, so that's the new extensions to the campaign, but there's a whole giant league to play through as well. I'll leave that to Mark to talk about later. And that's because what I want to talk about now is the new stuff for your characters. And probably one of the biggest new systems here is with the support gems. Now, support gems are one of the most interesting elements to creating a build. They're what enables so many interesting mechanics and different ways to play. But PoE2's support gem system has just never been quite right. One of the major issues is the limitation of only having one support gem of each type on your character. We didn't want builds to just become using the same 5 most powerful supports in every skill. The problem with this design, though, is that it's actually working against using multiple skills in your build. If you can only use each support gem on one skill, it means that you're encouraged to go all in on that one ability. And we want to encourage you to combo your abilities, something needed to change. So with that in mind, we've removed the restriction of having one of each support gem per character. You can now use as many copies as you like. This should drastically increase the amount of possible builds and increase the amount of skill diversity. There are a lot of potential builds that suffered from the previous restriction. For example, a poison build previously couldn't add poison to more than one skill. They couldn't use stacking poison on more than one skill either. This severely limited your ability to combo with anything outside of the specifically designed poison archetype, but now you can. Many utility skills previously couldn't scale to endgame, because the supports that would make them scale were more useful to use in other skills. You would never speed up killing Palm with martial tempo, when you would much rather use it on your primary skill instead. There are more examples like this all over the place. In addition to that, though, we thought there wasn't enough feeling of progression in the supports as you went through the game. There were only 3 tiers of supports, and many of the most important ones were given out at tier 1. Also, there were no strict upgrades, meaning that upgrading supports when you ran out of sockets required quite a lot of thinking. In order to solve these issues, we now also have multiple levels of many supports as you go through the game. For example, double barrel support gives you an extra bolt, but at the cost of 30% less reload speed. At tier 2, the penalty gets lowered to 20%. But then at tier 3, the support gem gets something new. It now reloads automatically when you heavy stun an enemy. In some cases, the highest tiers might work a little differently, and you'll have to decide if you like the upgrade or not, depending on your build. For example, rapid casting. The first couple of levels gives 15, then 20% increased cast speed. But then at tier 3, it changes to a new approach. For each different spell you cast in the last 8 seconds, you get 10% increased cast speed, which could be a pretty big bonus if you use a lot of different spells. So that's pretty good for upgrades through the campaign, but we wanted to add a little more spice to the endgame for supports too. And that's where our new system, lineage supports, comes in. You can think of these like unique items, but for supports. There are supports that are only available at endgame, but they're much more powerful. Like Ratha's Assault. It's an upgraded version of Double Barrel that reloads your skill as you dodge roll, as well as increasing the number of bolts it can hold. But it does mean that it's the only way you can reload the skill now. Now, unlike regular supports, you can't find these through the uncut support gem. Just like unique items, many of these can be found from specific bosses. And there's a ton in the regular drop pool too. Some of them are fairly rare.
Oh shit, +1 level.
Others
Wait, that
fairly
was
common.
Awakened, Enhance, and Enlighten, or Empower at the same time.
Some of them are build defining. Others are just straight up power.
Oh shit, hits, Elemental. Dude, that's like Rockiata's the...
All in all,
That's
there's
the
around
support
40 lineage supports being added
Rockiatas.
throughout
Support
the endgame.
Rockiatas.
So there's a lot of power to find out there. Now, the new support gems are certainly going to open up a lot of builds, but of course we have a huge range of improvements to individual character classes as well. As well as adding new skills, we had a big focus on buffing existing skills so that they can scale well into the endgame. There's a huge amount to cover here, so we're not going to discuss everything. We're just going to quick fire through some of the coolest changes.
Oh shit, skill
We
changes.
wanted to make cold a more useful element on the Ranger, so we've expanded the cold
Ooh.
tools available. As well as increasing its range, Escape Shot now creates fragments of ice whenever it hits the ground. These fragments explode after a short time, making the skill better for killing groups of enemies. But not only that, we added an ice fragment support that creates more of them when killing frozen enemies. And a new buff skill called Ice-Tipped Arrows that allows all your arrows to create ice fragments. This already gives clear to rangers wanting to use ice, but to take further advantage of the ice fragments, Freezing Salvo has been upgraded to shoot additional cold arrows towards every fragment, giving you a nuke-like ability.
Bow is buffed.
We've also modified Snipe to consume frozen from enemies, dealing a huge amount more damage,
Bow's
giving you a
buffed.
nice ice single target option. And
Told you
might notice
guys.
about this is that the
People
bows
thought I
are a
shouldn't
lot
add that
higher
to the
against
bingo.
bosses. This is actually a change you'll see throughout the entire game. Since it's a lot harder to freeze a boss, you should get a bigger reward for it. Another theme you'll see throughout the game is making movement feel better. Toxic Growth is a skill that was pretty cool, but a bit annoying to use with the jump that it had. Now Toxic Growth is a range skill, so you can spam it more easily. And we've also added a new poison skill while we were at it, called Toxic Domain. It creates a small area around you that makes all your attacks create toxic growth pustules, but attached to monsters. Another skill that was annoying to use was Electrocuting Arrow. It's now just a regular arrow, making it easier to use. But it also means you can support it with projectile supports. And it now also has Area of Effect, making it a tool for more than just single target, and allowing it to scale into the endgame. We
Mirage
also added
Archer.
a new spirit reservation called Mirage Archer. This is a meta skill that allows you to create shadowy clones of yourself to use a skill of your choice. Of course, one of the other big problems the Ranger had was survivability. Evasion was the weakest of the three defenses, and we wanted to change that. Currently, Evasion doesn't evade all types of hits in the game, so you're still vulnerable to things like slams or unblockable attacks.
Evasion
To
buff.
make Evasion characters more tanky, we're adding a new mechanic called Deflect. Unlike Evasion, Deflect works on everything, and if you successfully deflect a hit, you take 40% less damage.
Wait,
Items
that's
can
a
now give you a
lot.
mod that gives you some amount of deflection based on your evasion.
Takes
and there's
a,
a bunch
takes
of
a
it available on the
suffix or a
passive tree
prefix
too.
though?
Deflection is rolled in addition
Dude, wasn't
to evasion,
everyone playing
so this is an
evasion
upgrade for regular
only?
hits too.
Wasn't
And
everyone
unlike
only
evasion,
playing
there's no
evasion
maximum
though?
chance.
That's what I thought. In
You can
PoE
reach
2, I thought
100%
everyone was
deflect
playing
against all
evasion because
hits
nothing
if you
else was
spec
good.
into it enough.
But they're just making it
Of
better.
course, this is a buff
Deadeye
that
log
helps all
in.
Dex characters, so the Mercenary and the Monk, but especially the Huntress, are seeing big defense boosts from this as well. Speaking of defensive mechanics, let's talk about block and parry. Now, one of the big concerns on the release of the Huntress was parry feeling unreliable. One of the big reasons for this is there's a lot of hits that are not blockable, and thus not parryable either. So a huge balance change we're making is that now, everything is blockable, except for specifically unblockable red flash skills that bosses use. This makes parry much more reliable. And not only that, but to make block and parry nicer to use, you now also move faster than before while using these abilities. This is a massive buff to passive block as well. So to counter that, we did have to lower the max passive block a bit, but overall you should feel much safer. Fire skills on the warrior were not really cutting the mustard, so we decided we needed to upgrade
Cutting
a
the
bunch of them, but also
mustard.
add some more as well. Let's start with a buff.
Volcanic
fissure now
fissure.
branches into multiple fissures, giving it much more clearing potential.
Is volcanic
We've
fissure
also
OP
added a
in
new skill
PoE
called
2 now
Forge
too?
Hammer. This skill throws a molten hammer that does a slam at a distance. You can recall the hammer back by using the skill again if you like, but the cooler thing to do is to use a war cry near it. Using a war cry makes the hammer explode, making a bunch of volcanic fissures around. Volcanic fissures re-trigger when you slam them, so it's a great skill to make a flaming arena to fight a boss.
Volcanic
We
fissure
also buffed
snaking.
Perfect Strike to have much larger area of effect, and changed Molten Blast to not always force you to move forward. Trust me, it feels a lot better to use now. The skill now has massively boosted chance to ignite monsters as well. And you're going to want to ignite monsters due to a new glory skill called Ancestral Cry. Ancestral Cry charges up with glory by igniting monsters, invoking King Kaum's favor. After you do, use it to channel Kaum's ancestral power. Every attack will be ancestrally boosted with fire. Your very steps will explode, triggering volcanic fissures, and molten balls will erupt from your attacks. Warrior shield skills were another area we wanted to improve. Now that we've got sprint, we actually don't need to have a cooldown on shield charge anymore. And now also does more damage the
Shield
further
charge,
away
no
you are when you
cooldown?
use
Wait.
it.
That might own now.
Shield wall got significantly upgraded AoE. Also, you can shield charge right through it to trigger all the walls. We also added a new shield war cry. Fortifying Cry gives you a defensive buff, but it also builds up charge on your shield that empowers your other shield skills. And Magma Barrier now doesn't require timing in order to use. Just wait for your shield to charge up and block.
Cry bot.
Seismic Cry now stuns enemies that are primed for stun. And we changed the Sunder interaction with Armor Break. It now also gives a Sundered Armor debuff that makes enemies take 40% extra physical damage. Great for bosses. Ancestral Warrior Totem has undergone some pretty significant changes too. We wanted the skill to feel more like using an ultimate. That summoning an ancestor to fight for you was a big deal. So we've changed this totem to require 3 endurance charges to summon, and massively buffed its damage. It also now scales your weapon damage too. Since there's no limit anymore, if you build around generating endurance charges, you can summon an entire forest of totems. In order to make that easier, we added some new sources of endurance charges. There's now a support to make Perfect Strike generate charges, and a support for generating endurance charges from heavy stuns as well. Speaking of totems, we wanted to upgrade the Warbringer. Among the other changes we've made to this class, Answered Call now gives an extra totem, and the spirits have just been generally buffed in many ways. Use it with your limitless ancestral warrior forest to make an army of Kurumi
totems,
that will
like,
make
I feel like the only time they've ever been used when, like, they were used as, like, a melee just buff.
Howl and Warcaller's Bellow support, so that you can get all the benefits with 1 point.
It was literally just like a buff bot.
And Encased in Jade no longer removes the Jade when getting hit, making it a much better defense.
What's Jade even?
Next up, let's talk about accuracy. Accuracy was always intended to be something that warriors didn't need to care about very much so long as they're in close combat. But unfortunately, that's not currently the case. This was particularly annoying with skills like Bone Shatter, which you certainly don't want to mess with. So we significantly buffed your chance to hit at close ranges when you don't have much accuracy. Warriors shouldn't require any accuracy investment in order to hit with close range attacks now. We also wanted to improve armor. Now, one of the major weaknesses of armor is the inability to defend against elemental damage. In order to mitigate this, we're adding a lot more of the stat that allows your armor to defend against elemental damage.
Oh, dude, you get like the Juggernaut
It's now
node
available on items and in a
for
lot more places on the
for
passive
armor.
tree. One of the most important improvements we've made in 030 is to declunk the action and flow of shooting crossbows. You can now reload crossbows without any
Armor
movement
stacker login.
But not only that, all skills that can be used while moving now slow you for a shorter amount of time. This change benefits everyone, not just crossbow skills. With both of these changes put together, the run and gun playstyle feels much better. It's hard to explain how important this change is for the feel of the class. The Mercenary is also a good chance to talk about how we're rebalancing to make comboing skills much better. Take Shock, for example. It buffs damage and lasts 4 seconds right now, but that isn't really giving you enough time to take advantage of it. If you're going to add a lightning skill into a build that otherwise wouldn't use one, we need to make mechanics like this much better. So we've increased shock duration on monsters to last 8 seconds.
Lightning, more OP.
And skills like Plasma Blast, which are intended to be good at shocking enemies, now increase the damage bonus by a lot more. You'll find changes like this all around the game. Chill now lasts 8 seconds, giving you more of a reason to weave in cold damage. Freezing skills are better at freezing. Burning skills need to cause burns that last longer. But making skills like Permafrost Bolts and Incendiary Shot double down on how they're supposed to be used, it makes using them in your build alongside other skills much more likely. We're also making sure to buff specific combos too. The freeze explosions from frag rounds now chain to nearby enemies. And using high velocity rounds with armor break will now fragment the opponent's armor. This causes monsters to take a portion of high velocity rounds damage with every subsequent hit. Even
I feel like
pellets.
the damage looks way better on bosses, like
that
I
means following
assume.
up with a shotgun blast is way more
Like these
effective.
bosses look like they die way faster now, no? Or is this like
And there's a
endgame
lot more buffs
stuff?
to crossbow skills, but for now, I'm just going to talk about the new one we added, the Mortar Cannon. This one lets you socket any grenade skill, and using it will summon a cannon which loads and then fires the grenade you choose.
Ballistas.
Another issue on the Mercenary were banners. They were just not very good, so we're doing a big upgrade to them. They now last longer, don't disappear when moving out of them, and we removed the Valor mechanic. They now just give a much more consistent and stronger buff, and you can use them when you get enough glory.
Try bot.
On which, one of the main focuses was making various minion types more useful to use together. Melee minions in particular were just not that great compared to ranged ones. As a starting point, we just straight up removed the requirement for minions to have accuracy. Attack minions now always hit, which makes them way better. Brutes got some good numeric buffs, but we also added a new command skill where they do a war cry that intimidates enemies and detonates any frozen monsters and allies around you in a big cold
I've never played a minion build ever, and I don't think I ever will. Minions log out.
Command skill to an ability that adds ice armor to your other minions, adding a layer of defense. And it makes them deal cold damage back to the attacker as well. The ice armor also makes the minion count as frozen, so the Brute's Warcry can detonate them too. Unearth was changed to work on corpses of your dead skeletons, allowing you to summon the minions more easily in boss fights. And they also got a new jump ability, allowing them to get into combat faster. Ray's Spectre was also feeling pretty weak for the spirit cost they have. To be honest, we were a little afraid of these when we first balanced them.
Minions
They've
jump.
decreased the spirit cost for a large range of monsters, and will significantly increase Spectre damage too. They should feel a lot more impactful. There's also a lot of new spellcaster weapons with newer cult skills, but I'll just talk about one of them that I thought was particularly cool. The Reaping Staff is actually a wicked scythe that gives you a new ability called Reap. When an enemy is low in life, you can dash forward and rake enemies with the
Reap.
scythe to cull them instantly, healing you. It can also inflict critical weakness on enemies too. Now, there's a lot of balance changes in the Witcher's Ascendancy classes, but I'll just talk about two of them for now. On the Blood Mage, you were previously required to spend your first points on Sangomancy,
Oh, dude, this was
which really was
so...
supposed to be the downside for being able to access
This
the
sucked
powerful
so
abilities on
much,
the rest of
man.
the class. In order to make picking the Blood Mage a better early option, we made Sangomancy free, unlocking the power of the rest of the class immediately. On the Infernalist, the Demon form wasn't something people were really using because you lost your weapon stats while transformed. Well, you no longer do, so it's a much better option now.
Dude, it sucked so much to play Blood Mage because of that.
On the Monk, the Wind
was
skills
so
needed
bad.
a big upgrade for sure.
You literally, your first
Staggering
Ascendancy,
Palm
basically
can
you
now
didn't
stack up
even
its
want to take
duration
it. It
to
made
use
you
the skill
weaker.
multiple times in a row. So you can keep
Wait,
the
why is
effect
this
of
so
all
much
your skills
bigger?
throwing up wind much more easily.
Why is this buff so much bigger?
Wind Blast
Monk
had the
equals
purpose of building up to
Lee Sin.
dazing an enemy, but dazing just wasn't worth all that effort. Now it just dazes on hit, meaning a single Wind Blast will make all your skills stun enemies more easily.
Dude, I think Monk might be OP because they buffed... Okay,
Following
they're
up with
buffing
Vaulting
evasion
Impact
rating,
on a
right?
dazed enemy
And then
previously
like
did a bunch of
Monk
stun.
also has the
Now it allows you to break your
it's
enemy's
basically a
stance.
trickster. It has the
When your
what's it
stance is
called? Like
broken,
escape
following
artist.
up with a fast attack,
Where
which
like
is
your
way more
ES
damage.
gives you or your evasion gives you ES and your
The
ES
cool
gives you
build that certain
evasion.
people always enjoyed in PoE 1 was hand-to-hand combat, but until now we just didn't have a real way to make it viable. Well,
Hollow
that changes
Palm.
now. The Monk, as a true martial artist, now has the ability to learn the
Hollow
Hollow Palm
Palm.
technique, a keystone that lets you use all quarterstaff skills while unarmed.
Hollow
All
Palm.
quarterstaff attacks now have a special unarmed version, and you get further bonuses to all your attacks from stacking energy shield.
We are
and
adding
evasion on your
PoE 1
character.
things to PoE 2 Pog, dude.
A new keystone we also added to the Monk section of the tree is Walker of the Wilds. This changes mana leech to work with elemental damage instead of physical,
Oh, that's actually
which is
good.
pretty useful for all those elemental attacks the Monk has, but it works well for the Ranger too.
Are we logging into the Monk?
Now, one of the least used Ascendancy classes in the game is the Acolyte of Chayula, so we knew we needed to make some changes here. One of the key things we had to do was make
Monk,
the chaos
log
damage that
in.
the Acolyte can do much more useful. So we've added a new skill, allowing chaos damage to ignite, shock, chill, and freeze, embracing the elemental prowess of the Monk in a truly chaotic fashion. In addition, he can make all of his chaos damage leech. And we've buffed Into the Breach and Embrace the Darkness by moving the effects of the 4-point nodes into the base skills. He also gains a new notable, Grasp of the Void, which leaves void illusions behind you as you dodge roll. If they're
Monk's
killed, they do
broken? I mean,
massive
it might
explosions of
be.
darkness, dealing damage to everything in sight. Now let's talk about Sorceress skills. One of the things we wanted to improve on the Sorc is the ability to use multiple elements together more effectively.
ES evasion Monk.
Now, this might seem small, but one of the things pushing you towards using a single element is debuffs like Elemental Curses, which lower resistances of a single element. In order to fix that, we're making quite a lot of game-wide changes to these kinds of mechanics to broaden what they apply to. So for example, there's no longer 3 curses for fire, ice, and lightning. Instead, there's just a single curse that buffs all 3 at the same time.
Ellie weakness.
And things like Frost Bomb, which gave you cold exposure, now give elemental exposure. You can use it to buff any of your other skills. We also wanted to make switching between different weapon sets smoother, so you can use different elemental staves more effectively. To do that, we've removed the weapon switch time, and now happens instantly. This applies game-wide too. Now, we didn't just want to stop there. We wanted to add some specific mechanics that work between different elements, and that's where elemental infusions come in. Certain skills can now drop elemental infusions. For example, when a Frost Bomb explodes, it leaves behind a cold infusion on the ground.
Hollow Palm,
After picking it
Tempest,
up,
Flurry,
you can spend it on one of
Instacker.
any number of different skills to transform how they work. Spark will create a nova of cold-infused projectiles. Ice Nova will leave a chilled area on the ground. And we also added a new low-level skill that fires ice shards. Use it with cold infusion though, and the ice shards will explode. Orb of Storms now generates lightning infusions when you cast enough spells near it. And that's all spells, by the way, not just lightning. Once you have one, you could cast a lightning flame wall, which adds both fire and lightning damage to all the projectiles that pass through it. Or power up Ember Fusillade with lightning, which will generate arcs to nearby enemies as each fireball hits. Or maybe go lightning on lightning with arc. This skill is now a projectile, and by infusing it, you can go full Palpatine.
Full Palpatine,
Get
dude.
fire infusions by blowing up monsters with Living Bomb. Then use them with Comet to summon a giant fire meteor from the sky. Or use it with Firestorm, which transforms it from a small area into a much bigger one. Firestorm is unique in that it can be infused by multiple different elements at the same time. Add an ice infusion to rain down ice at the same time as the fire.
Dude, does anyone actually have like
And add
Fireball,
lightning to give
Spark,
deadly strikes from the heavens into the
Comet
mix.
all on their bar at the same time?
Or use it with all three to generate a storm that is truly apocalyptic.
Do people actually use like 5
Cold
different
Snap has been
abilities at
something turned
once? Like,
into Snap.
surely they don't, right?
Previously, you could use it to shatter ice, but now it works to detonate all of the different elemental ailments, and makes them leave behind infusions.
Yeah.
And just like how you could previously use it on Frostbolt, you can now also use it on Orb of Storms and Solar Orb to detonate those as well, which means you can create many infusions at once. We also have a Spirit Reservation skill, and a
Dude,
support
you know what I
gem to
saw
help
in the
generate
top
them
right,
too.
dude? I don't know if you guys caught it. It like
On
it
the
said
passive
map
tree, we added
objective and
quite
it
a few
only
new
said like kill
keystones
the
to
boss.
Sorceress section. Here are a couple of examples.
I'm pretty sure.
The Black Flame Covenant keystone converts your fire spells to chaos and causes your ignites to deal chaos damage. Your fire spells and ignites
Like look,
also
look,
turn
map
purple.
objectives and it just has defeat the boss.
The Ritual Cadence keystone causes your invocation skills to trigger more times. It makes them trigger periodically
Look,
over a longer
again.
duration instead of one. Great for those auto.
Do we only have to kill the boss now, actually? Oh, did it actually last league? Yeah, I guess I didn't play last league,
so.
so.
Lot more options for the passive tree for each class. Overall, there are more than 100 new notables on the tree, usually around 20 per class, along with smaller clusters as well. Check out the old version,
I just was noticing that.
and here's the new version. It's a lot more dense, and there's more interesting nodes than before. Now, we probably can't go through too many of these in the livestream, so I'll just show you one from each class's area of the tree. We tried to be a lot more thematic with the new nodes, so for example, the Molten One's Gift. It lets the benefit of Armor Break apply to your fire damage. Or how about Last Stand, which gives you lots of stats as your situation becomes more and more desperate. A lot of these have themes aligning with Ascendancy classes. Like for the Gemling Legionnaire, for example. You have crystallized immunities, which makes you immune to different status ailments depending on which support gem color you have socketed the most. Another Ascendancy class aligned notable is Sanguimatic Rituals. It allows arcane surges to generate life instead of mana, unlocking that support gem to be used with the Blood Mage Ascendancy. In the Sork area, you'll find these Archon nodes that allow you to convert all of your elemental damage to a specific element. You become a Lightning Archon when you spend enough mana, after which all your skills will be converted to lightning, and you will do extra lightning damage as well. We have ones for cold and fire too, with different triggers. Here's another
Oh, there,
cool
I just saw map
one.
objective
Elemental
kill all rare
Practitioner gives crit
monsters.
bonuses if you've triggered a skill recently, while also making crits generate more energy for triggers. Or maybe you'd like the Great Boar. It gives you a reason to stack dexterity to make you tougher, giving
Dex
a bonus to
stacking.
life and stun threshold.
Oh, do we got instacking? Is there an instacking
Or
node
the
like
Cunning Fox. It straight up gives you 5% quality to all your gems. Now, another major change is attribute requirements. We felt like players probably had a few too many nodes and attributes and not enough in interesting passives, so we lowered attribute requirements by 25% across the board. That means you'll have more points to spend on interesting notables rather than just needing to allocate more strength, dex, and int. Now, there are way more changes than just these. These are just some of the cooler ones we wanted to show off, but I'd say that's just about enough for now. We're not even half done yet. So I think it's time that we talk about the league, the rise of the Abyssal. And to do that, I'd like to hand things over to Mark.
As you just saw, even though there are major changes to the campaign for this update, we want to make sure that every time you come back for an expansion, each area feels different with something extra going on. It is really important to make sure your experience when returning between expansions is fresh and filled with new content. And the way we did this was through leagues. Every expansion we make has a league, which not only has a fresh economy, but also has new content exclusively available in that league. So, let's delve into the details of what
we'll do the bingo after. We'll see.
Official league is bringing to the table. The
Abyss.
Abyssal are a race
We're gonna have some bugged Abyssal gear.
Magics and necromancy.
Bugged Abyssal gear in PoE 2. Let's go.
Been biding their time underground. You first encounter signs of the Abyssal in Clearfell, where you discover that during the night, weaker members of the Undead Legion have been attacking the encampment. The townsfolk require your help to investigate where the monsters are coming from and put a stop to their attacks.
Out there, ancient creatures, lurking beneath the surface.
As you proceed through Rayclast, you'll find fissures in the earth connected to larger pits. The monsters normally inhabiting the area are being affected by it, harmed by it even, having their souls eaten to strengthen the Abyssal underground. As you defeat the monsters, the fissure closes and Abyssal emerge, angered by you killing their food. Once all those fissures have been sealed, the pit activates, and more Abyssal pour out. This is where the larger and more dangerous monsters reveal themselves, as hordes of Abyssal spew out from the pit to take your soul. If you kill a magic pack, then magic Abyssal arise. If you kill a rare, then a rare monster will emerge from the pit, having absorbed some or all of its modifiers for itself. This means the monsters emerging will generally be more difficult and more rewarding, as each modifier gives better rewards. If you are able to kill them all, the pit will seal shut. As each pit is closed, it reveals a potential reward. Abyssal troves will rise up out of the pits, allowing you to get some epic loot. Areas often contain many pits, with many fissures, and the amount goes up as you progress through the game, getting more intense. It doesn't stop there.
Yeah, I don't know what a Nod
River
River
is, chance to
but...
become infused with the dark necromancy, transforming them into Abyssal modifiers. For example, you defeat this monster with the Mana Siphoner modifier. Their soul is eaten by the pit, and a rare monster emerges. The Mana Siphoner modifier has transformed into Soul Siphoner, and is
Dude,
now
he's got
amplified in
Tailwind, PogChamp.
danger
Ooh, I see
and
Trinity
reward.
top left. He's got Trinity.
Abyssal pits also interact with other monsters and mechanics. If you defeat a rogue exile that's near one, it'll be revived as a Lichborn that has multiple Abyssal modifiers. Lichborn exiles even have their own unique jewel they can drop, if you are lucky enough to encounter and kill them. If an Abyss spawns near a boss, killing it will summon a gigantic Giga Larvae creature. Monsters imprisoned in essences near Abyssal pits are affected by the Abyss too. They will come with an additional new essence item that can be used to craft your items.
Of the Abyss, dude. Is that going to add an Abyssal jewel slot?
That's your bread and butter of the Abyssal League. Kill surface-dwelling monsters, kill the emerging Abyssal, close the fissures, overcome pit encounters, and reap the rewards. There's a lot more to this league, however. As you complete Abysses, you can find ancient pieces of bone, preserved from the remains of fallen
that's what the rib is for, right?
These are one of the many rewards for your mission to seal the pits. You can use this on a rare item to imbue it with Abyssal magic, adding a special hidden modifier to your item.
Oh no, is that like an unveil? Wait, is that like an unveil?
In Act 2 of the campaign, you'll encounter a new area. This area is overrun by the Abyssal and the
It looked like an unveil.
After clearing through this area, you'll find the Well of Souls, a giant cavity with a massive vortex of souls swirling beneath you. So how do you reveal the mods on your Abyssal-infused items? Obviously,
dude, it's an
just
unveil.
throw them in, right?
Wait, it's an unveil,
Yes,
right?
That's exactly what you do. Before throwing it in, you are given the option
Oh my
of
God, that
how
bow
you
looks
want to
sick.
transform it. In the form of a
Look at its
choice of
fizz
three
damage,
different
fizz damage,
modifiers.
crit, attack speed. Oh
Once
shit,
you've
it got
chosen
more
your
fizz
desired mod,
damage.
Throw it in, where it will
Fizz
absorb
damage,
the power
yeah,
of the
click.
souls, and the ominous creature
Fizz
will then
bow.
retrieve it for you.
Log in,
These
Fizzbo.
modifiers can be ones from the core mod pool, all the way through to specialized modifiers that cannot normally appear on items. During the campaign, you can use it as a way to more easily add useful existing mods. But
Making
during
another
the endgame,
Fizzbo.
there is a whole set of new and powerful mods you can add to your items. Like this mod for crossbows that allows you to place an additional ballista totem. Or this one that adds spirit to your staff. Or this one that allows you to generate more combo with your quarterstaff skills.
Okay, I might have to play a Deadeye. We might have to use my
And
like
speaking of
profile
endgame,
picture.
You can also use the system to craft waystones. With a preserved vertebrae fused into your waystones, you can get some new modifiers that push difficulty and rewards to new heights.
Wait, what's this gonna have?
Here are some examples of those mods. You
Soul
always get
Eater.
a choice of 3, so you can avoid anything you don't think your character is capable of. With this modifier, the natural inhabitants of the area are all spawned near abysses. And there are up to 9 additional abyssal pits in the
Dude,
area.
okay,
making
one
it
thing
just
about
a
that is
full-on
that's gonna be
abyss
really
monster.
annoying. If you're rolling your maps, bro,
Or this one,
and you have
which
to go
causes the
there
final abyssal pit
to
in the
roll your
area
maps,
to
it's gonna be
always
so
result
annoying.
in a boss encounter. Be it either one underground.
you have to go sit in
or
front of
one
that thing to
emerges
roll
out.
all your maps.
There are dozens of these waystone modifiers in total you can get from this crafting. That covers the new crafting.
Oh no,
mechanic.
players and their minions
So
deal
what's
no
next?
damage every 3 of
Well,
10?
We talked about how
No,
when closing
dude.
pits you can get
No.
abyssal troves.
That's
But
on the,
sometimes
that was
when
literally
closing
on one of the
abyss,
maps.
You'll reveal an
That was on
underground
one of the
cavern that
maps,
leads
dude.
to the abyssal depths. After jumping into the depths, you'll find
We got
an
T17
abyssal
mods.
city
We have
swarming with legions of
T17
the
mods on
undead.
them.
When underground, every
No,
single
dude.
rare abyssal enemy will have an abyssal modifier. And
Volatile
at the end of the
cores.
dungeon, you'll even find a rare with a more powerful Lichborn modifier. Once you're able to defeat this powerful rare, you can also find some nice rewards. Aside
what's a
from the
greater
entire
orb
area
of
being
augmentation?
valuable
What's
due to the
that?
abyssal modifiers on the
Greater
monsters,
orb of augmentation. What's
it has
that?
its own specific drops too.
What's a greater orb of
One
augmentation?
example
I want to
is
know
a
what
set
that
of lineage
is.
supports that can rarely be found in these depths, like Kurgel's Leash. This support empowers both you and your minions when you command them, granting unholy might to you both. Another depth-specific outcome is a set of omen-like items that amplify your abyssal crafting.
Oh, you can re-roll the
Additionally,
unveils.
we're adding some new socketables that can drop from the abyssal depths. Take Ulaman's Gaze, which can be socketed into your armor.
1 accuracy per 1 evasion? That's
These
kind
are
of
a
cool.
bit special, in that you can only have one equipped at a time, but give some pretty powerful effects.
It's like an Abyss Jewel.
Think of them as almost a unique socketable for your equipment. In the endgame, where you can still find depths, you also start to find a different type of underground chamber. In these areas, you'll find an ancient spire, a device being used by commanders of the abyssal factions to plunge Rayclast into a lightless void. Your goal is simple: kill this commander and destroy the spire. There are 4 bosses in the
shit.
Abyss League, and there are some pretty
Kill
cool
that belt
uniques
again, dude. I
available
want to
from
see
them.
what that is. Oh, okay.
An
It's
example is this belt, Darkness and
it's like an Abyss. It's like an Abyss Jewel
It has
belt.
2 sockets. But hold on, socketables don't work on belts. Well, this belt has a special mod that allows it to count as a different slot for the purpose of socketables. This one, for example, counts as a helmet. I kind of want one that counts as a body armor. I wonder how rare that one is.
Oh, that's cool. There's
You
one
can
that
also
they count
find
as
this
different.
unique jewel, Undying Hate. This jewel transforms
Lethal
part
Pride.
of your passive skill tree into an abyssal version.
Lethal
And
Pride.
has multiple depths. The deeper it goes, the
Oh wait,
more
it's
of
like
your
an
passive
elegant
tree is
hubris
affected.
actually.
allowing you to fulfill your
Right?
fantasy
That's like elegant
of
hubris.
becoming part Abyssal Lich. Now, the last thing that Abyssal commanders can drop is a Finger of the Lich. But what use do you have with a random
Or whatever, yeah,
unmade
Molten
finger?
Faith, Molten Faith.
Well,
You're right.
the next time you return to the Well of Souls, with the finger in your inventory, your character will almost
That's what I
feel
was thinking of.
compelled. To do what, though, you might ask? To jump in. The items you threw in came
Jump
back
in?
more powerful, right? So, what's the worst that could happen? Well, you will just have to find that one out for yourself.
Oh.
Along
Endgame.
with the introduction of Act 4 and the interlude, we will be adding 25 new endgame maps. These maps will contain all the new monsters and bosses we're adding, improving variety and giving you opportunities to experience the new boss fights many times.
Oh no, not the tower
Let's
time,
take
bro.
a look at some examples. Rock Pools is a map where you explore a shallow rocky
A belt that
coastline
counts as a bow and
surrounded by
adds
coral
arrows? Oh
and
my
filled
god,
with
that'd be sick.
sirens.
Just
At
adds
the
like
end
8
is a
arrows.
Giant Goblin King boss, ready to eat sulfite and squish you like a bug. Holton is an Ezomite township which has seen better days. Explore and clear the township to find a gothic, Reaper-like boss, with the ability to manipulate storms and fry you with both lightning and wither you with chaos. Given some of the new bosses added are a bit more epic, such as the Act boss and final bosses of each interlude part, it would be a bit of a waste to just use them as regular map bosses. Instead, we'll be adding some new mechanics to
Dude,
the
wait, I don't
Abyssal
see a
user.
tower. I haven't seen a tower yet,
These start
guys.
appearing
Wait.
pretty
Oh, wait,
fast
no,
into
there's
the
one.
endgame, and
No,
will help bridge
I
the
was
gap
getting my
until you
hopes
do your
up.
pinnacle bosses.
Dude, there's no towers for a
In
second.
the desert biome, you can encounter a wild sandstorm.
There's
3
no
maps
towers for a
around the
second when they're
sandstorm
scrolling.
contain a device you must activate. Upon doing this, the sandstorm's magic is disrupted, revealing the map inside and allowing you to access it and find the cause. This presents itself in the form of a boss, similar to the existing Citadel bosses. This boss is a Faradin Swordmaster, who has been blessed with the power of a time gem, allowing him to take his swordsmanship to the next level by replicating himself, maneuvering rapidly, and severing the fabric of time itself with his powerful slashes. In the water biome, you'll encounter a giant maelstrom, where one of the maps surrounding the water biome connects to it, but the connection is obscured. You must run the maps nearby, hoping to find a beacon, which will remove the maelstrom and reveal the connection to that map. Another example is this Vaal vault in the mountain biome. But how do we get inside? Running the adjacent maps to it will yield a key, which you can then use to gain access to this vault. Or, you could just trade for one, I guess. Use the key to dispel the powerful force field surrounding it, leading to the Vaal Elite and their rewards inside. These all contain Uber versions of the Act 4 boss, and the bosses at the end of each part of the interlude. And each have their own exclusive drop pool of new lineage supports, which, as Jonathan spoke about earlier, are powerful support gems that modify your skills in pretty crazy ways. As an example of a lineage support which can come from the Faradin Swordmaster mentioned earlier, we have Guru Khan's Resolve, which causes your critical strikes to fork, but requires some mobility on your part to properly enable. From the boss sealed in the Vaal Vault, we have Paquate's Pact, which supports your war cries, causing them to inflict massive amounts of corrupted blood at the cost of your own life. Additionally, some maps can now spawn summoning circles, a room resembling an Ezomite henge. Activating this henge will spawn bosses. It's as simple as that. We'll also be making changes to how affixes and waystones work, as the current prefixes equals good, suffixes equals bad iteration isn't quite hitting the mark. We tried something new here in Path of
PoE
Exile
switch
2,
chat. Wait, why?
but
What
after seeing
is
the
it?
feedback, we decided we actually liked what we had
Log
in Path of
out
Exile
tower.
1.
Oh my god, people are rioting about towers,
Like Path
bro.
of Exile 1, each affix will now be both difficult and rewarding.
Everyone's
Waystone mods
rioting.
now grant an increase to the number of waystones dropped, and an additional specific upside attached to it. This means as you roll your map, they will continue to get more difficult and more rewarding, and allow you to customize the difficulty and rewards of your maps better. For example, The Frostbitten mod, which causes enemies to deal cold damage, also increases the rarity of items dropped as its upside. Whereas the Of Venom suffix modifier,
Oh, they're
which
like
causes
doing
enemies to
like the
poison on
T17
hit,
mods and
has the
like
upside of granting increased pack size.
depending on what it
Some
depending on
maps
what
will end
the
up having a lot of rarity,
does
some a lot of
a
pack
different-
size,
yeah.
and others will just have a mixture of everything. Due to now having more modifiers granting difficulty, we will of course be reducing the difficulty per modifier to account for this. So, that's your Atlas, maps, and Waystones, but what about Breach,
Give us pause up for the
Ritual,
negatives,
Pinnacle
yeah.
content, and others of the sort? We're making some changes around this too. The first change is that you'll now be able to invest 2 points into your specific League Atlas trees before having to run the Pinnacle content. There will be a specific objective for each type of content which grants you those points. For example, in the case of Delirium, it's simple. You just need to find and kill one of the bosses in a map, Omniphobia or Kosis. The rest of the points for each content come from the Pinnacle content, but we're making some changes to accessibility here too. Currently, access to most Pinnacle content requires the same key at the easiest and most difficult version of the content. This creates a negative feeling where at lower difficulties, instead of wanting to run the content, you're often better off just selling it to someone who can run it at maximum difficulty. To address this, each content will now drop splinters, which will not form into singular items. Instead of using the singular combined item in the Realm Gate, you can now just bring your splinters. Upon inserting the splinters into the Realm Gate, an interface will appear, allowing you to pick your difficulty, and you'll notice each difficulty has a different entry cost.
Oh, that's weird.
This means if you
That's
want to
different.
run easier difficulties, it costs less, which also allows you to run this content much sooner into the endgame. Because these encounters now just require splinters, their corresponding Atlas tree no longer affects the difficulty of them, and has been changed to purely affect the content and maps on the Atlas. The Arbiter of Ash works a bit differently. Instead of requiring splinters, he still needs crisis fragments. We now have only 2 difficulties of the Arbiter. The first, requiring the existing fragments obtained from citadels. The second, Uber Arbiter, requires calamity fragments. These come from citadel bosses also, but only once you've allocated the maximum number of points in your boss Atlas tree, ensuring those citadels are at their highest difficulty level. Since we're talking about Pinnacle content, we also felt that the leveling curve in the late game was a bit too steep. We've smoothed this out a bit so that it's easier to get to the mid-90s.
Oh, I made
We've
bubbling
also
easier.
added some new in-game unique items. Let's take a look at a couple. Thunderfist is a pair of gloves that grants Crackling Palm, a skill which empowers your unarmed attacks, granting the ability to call down the storms themselves on enemies you hit. Put simply, literally every monster you hit with your unarmed skills will be struck by powerful lightning.
Hollow Palm.
Pair
Is
this
Hollow
with the
Palm Monk gonna
aforementioned
be the,
Hollow
like,
Palm
OP
technique
thing?
to embrace your true unarmed prowess in combat.
Hollow Palm.
Another unique we're adding is Henekura's Sight.
Oh shit.
Equip this amulet to be
Oh.
granted the power of the Mother of Death herself. This is reflected by
I thought he was about to say
granting you a skill
Hinekura's lock. I heard
called
Hinekura.
Foresight. While you have Foresight, your dodge roll no longer avoids hits. But instead, being hit while dodge rolling restores you to full life and makes you unable to die for a brief period of time. You'll notice when this does occur, a copy of your character appears and takes the full damage. This is you seeing that future, as if you hadn't been wearing the amulet. Ultimately, your in-game experience should be more streamlined. With new content to find, you'll be able to invest in your Atlas trees sooner, engage with Pinnacle content faster, have less FOMO running said Pinnacle content, reach higher levels easier, and do all of that while finding many new chase endgame items. Talking about finding items is one thing, but what about
New
crafting them?
crafting. Okay, let's
We've
see.
taken a step back and looked at some of our crafting systems to make some notable improvements. Let's start with essences, which suffered from an issue where the regular essences were effectively useless and didn't give players the tools or excitement that a crafting system should provide. To alleviate these concerns, essences are being changed in a few ways. Firstly, they're being changed to function like regals and add specific modifiers with specific values, meaning you know exactly what you're going to get. We found that players
a
were often
lesser.
bottlenecked by Regal Orbs when crafting in the campaign, so this helps to fill that gap, allowing you to
Boom.
better upgrade your items. For example, this Lesser Essence of Flames, which will be able to add a flat amount of fire damage to your magic martial weapons.
Yeah, that's good, right? You don't need
Secondly,
regals now.
we're adding many more tiers. That Lesser Essence of Flames, for example, has a regular variant and a greater variant too, adding even more fire damage with each upgrade. The intention of this is so that when you find one early on, you don't worry about holding on to it till later to use on a higher level item. You should feel free to use them as they come to get powerful upgrades during the campaign. Lastly, our highest tier of essences, now called Perfect Essences, will function like a Chaos Orb instead of a Regal. So it will
it's
replace
like a Chaos
one
Orb,
of the
actually.
modifiers on your rare items with the specified mod. Such as this Perfect Essence of Flames.
It's like a Harvest
You'll notice
Dog.
this one
It's like a
doesn't just add
Harvest
flat
Dog.
fire damage like the ones before it. The Perfect Essences often give something a bit
I assume
different,
they're gonna add
with
an
some
Omen too,
opportunities
right?
to be pretty damn powerful.
They're gonna add an Omen to go with these two,
There are
right?
many different
I imagine.
essences, each with many tiers, covering many of the more core modifiers you'd want on items early on, through to chase specialized ones for endgame.
I imagine at least.
Speaking of endgame, we really wanted to expand
Lightning
our crafting
Spear.
options for late
that what
endgame
Lightning
crafting
Spear is, right?
projects. You might have noticed that at endgame, you get way too many transmutes. Wouldn't it be nice if some of those didn't drop, but instead you got something a little more powerful? At higher levels, you can now find Greater Orb of
there.
Transmutation and Perfect Orb of Transmutation. These can be used on normal items to upgrade them to magic, ensuring that the modifier generated is of a minimum level. This is similar to how you find higher tier items on the ground, but for crafting. These higher tiers will also exist for Orb of Augmentation, Regal Orb, Exalted Orb,
Oh, that's actually nice.
and Chaos Orb, meaning you can get all of the orbs required to take your item from normal rarity
That's actually really
to a
nice.
fully completed rare with guaranteed high tier mods. On top of these new core crafting currencies,
It's more things to like
we wanted
hover
to make
with.
sure there are powerful crafting bases to use them on. Now in endgame,
You're
you can
right.
start to find exceptional items.
Oh, we can
These
get
are
over
items that
quality.
drop at normal
Over
rarity
quality.
and are perfect for your from-scratch crafting projects. They can come with extra quality, up to 30%, or an additional socket to use your crafting socketables in.
Oh, you can get another
And
socket too?
yes, they can be corrupted for yet another socket.
Okay, that's kind of cool.
You can also get exceptional unique items. To add even further to your crafting arsenal, we've added a whole suite of new omens to ritual content, and removed some of the more unimpactful
Oh wait, we're gonna see
ones
new
that
omens.
weren't being
New
used.
omens.
Some of the
See.
new omens include the Omen of the Ancients, which will
Oh, the
cause your
chance
next
orb. It's
orb
like-
of
or
chance
it's-
to not destroy the item, but generate a random unique of the same class.
The chance orb.
Or the Omen of Sanctification, which
Oh,
is my new
wait,
favorite.
sanctify it? Wait, what does that do with
This
Divine
will
Orb?
cause your next Divine Orb used on a rare
What's a
item
sanctify?
to reroll the values of its modifiers, allowing it to exceed the
Oh, it can go
normal
over
minimum and
100.
maximum values, raising the ceiling on the new most powerful
It can
rare
go over
items in the
100.
game. This Omen will also cause your item to become sanctified.
That's actually sick.
Sanctified items cannot be crafted,
Boom.
just like corrupted ones, so consider carefully
Oh,
when
can you not like
use
mirror
this.
it then?
Another is the Omen
Is
of
it not
Chaotic
mirrorable?
Monsters,
Is that what that
which will cause
means?
your next Chaos Orb to reroll all modifiers on a waste
Oh wait, that's actually sick.
allowing you to fix your maps if you get some modifiers.
Wait, do you see that?
are
It
not
only
feasible
gives
for
like
your
one.
build.
It's like all pack size.
Besides these examples, there is a huge variety of new omens for you to discover in your ritual encounters.
It said like
With the
oh,
release of
Hinakor's
Abyssal,
Lock.
Notably taking place
Hinakor's
in the Kagura
Lock!
archipelago, you'll be able to now find a new currency item, Hinakora's Lock. Hinekora, the Kadari goddess of death, has the power of foresight and is able to see many futures, including the outcome of your next craft.
I don't know how rare they're gonna make 'em.
Onto an item gives you that same power too.
How rare are they gonna make
For
them, dude?
example, you'll know whether or not to use an Exalted Orb on your item, as you will
Dude, I'm
know
pogging.
exactly what the
Hinakor's
outcome
Lock.
is.
Let's go.
So, with all these new crafting improvements, it's safe to say you're going to be making some epic items, and not necessarily just ones for yourself. So given that, it's time to talk about a massive one. Trade.
Hideout Warrior League login.
It's finally here. The moment we've all been waiting for. Fully asynchronous trade. Over the years, the way players trade with each other in Path of Exile 1 has morphed from using the forums, through to the in-game chat, all the way through to using the website. These systems, in all their iterations, work for a while, but with each iteration, new problems eventually reveal themselves. Be it requiring you to be in your hideout too much instead of out there killing monsters, or never getting responses from people who are either AFK or just can't be bothered. In order to finally solve this, and this has been a long time coming, we're adding a new system that allows you to buy items from other players without requiring the seller to be present. They can continue farming, killing monsters, AFK as they please.
Oh, that's so sick.
And can even be offline.
Okay, we need that in PoE 1 too,
With
dude.
the introduction of King's March in Act 4, you will encounter Ange, assistant to Rog in the Meridian Free Traders Company. Over the last 2 decades or so, since Path of Exile 1's storyline, Faustus has handed down his knowledge and expertise to Ange, and she is now ready to take over his
King's
business.
March.
If you have a hideout unlocked already, you can immediately invite her there. If you don't have a hideout yet, you will need to acquire one. You can do this by completing a quest to defeat one of the bosses inhabiting an island in Act 4, allowing you then to take a slice of it for yourself, making it your new home and base of operations. Once invited to your hideout, she will now serve as operating your currency exchange, but also serve as the figurehead in your new trading empire. So, how does this new system work? In the existing trade system, you would list items for sale in premium stash tabs. And then when someone wanted one, you'd have to take it out for yourself and trade it to them. Now, instead of using those, you can give your items to Ange so she can sell them for you. Each item must have a price set. The prices are set using in-game currency items, such as Exalted Orbs or Chaos Orbs. Once a price is set, other players will be able to find the item by searching for it on the trade website. Once a desired item has been found, you can hit a button, which will instantly teleport
that's actually
your character
sick.
in-game
Okay, this
to
is
their
cool.
hideout.
That's really cool.
Then, you can immediately purchase the item. And while there, if you want, browse their other goods, in case there's a good deal someone else hasn't yet discovered. You'll notice that as a buyer, on top of the currency the seller set for the price, it also costs gold to purchase an item.
Oh, do we need that in PoE 1 too, man? PoE 1
As
too?
a seller, you'll immediately receive a notification when an item of yours is sold, and can also see an effect above Ange in your hideout when she has unclaimed currency. Just go talk to her, claim your currency, and continue playing at your leisure.
Yeah, I wonder how you get more of the tabs. Do you have to buy them, or is it gonna just be like for
As
gold?
many people already acquired premium stash tabs for the purpose of the trade system, we wanted to add a way for you to convert your existing tabs to merchants tabs, if you want. You can do that here, on the website.
Okay, yeah, you have to actually...
But only if you purchase those tabs before the release of the third edict. To clarify, the existing trade system will remain fully intact, so your premium stash tabs will not lose any of their functionality. We just figured people might want to switch over to this new system. We expect a lot of feedback around this new system and are looking forward to trying
All
it
my
out with
coffin
you.
tabs are getting
As we are
merchant
not
tabbed.
able to test internally with an entire, thriving economy, there will certainly be some kinks to work out. Based on how the system goes, we will be adding it to Path of Exile 1 when ready. So
Poggers,
any of the tabs you
oh.
purchase will also be usable there later. Next
getting
up,
added to
we're
PoE
going
1.
to be talking about our new supporter packs. Today, we're launching 2 new series of supporter
Getting added to
packs.
PoE 1,
The
dude.
Justice and
He's literally
Triumph
just
and
said that.
Executioner packs. Each tier contains the pack's full face value in points, alongside several exclusive microtransactions. As always, the microtransactions in these packs are purely cosmetic and do not affect your character's power or progression in any way. The Justice series of supporter packs contains 6 exclusive microtransactions. Claim glory after defeating enemies, or inspire your allies by calling down the Banner of Justice portal. The Sphinx Mystic hideout decoration will identify items for you, displaying them as it does so. This ancient creature has been presented with many items over the eons, so has some strong expressions to make on the quality of your wares. Become a true warrior, worthy of delivering the justice of the eternal gods with the Apostle of Justice armor set. This armor set also comes with a matching back attachment containing a set of scales to measure your worth.
Dude, hopefully the PoE one like
the
gets.
Apostle of Justice finisher effect.
Hopefully it
equipped,
gets that
the
like
Goddess
next
of
patch
Justice herself
327.
will appear to decide on a verdict for slain unique enemies. Witness as she decides the fate of your slain foes. Will they ascend to be amongst the gods or be banished to the underworld? The Griffin fledgling pet will be your courageous companion as you journey throughout Rayclast. Take your place in the skies in the Plateau of the Gods hideout. This hideout comes with many different sections for setting up your home or base of operations. In order to travel between them, you simply just need to walk off the edge. Like a true eternal god, you can float between the mountains on the clouds themselves.
That's actually kind of sick.
The Trathan Executioner pack series also contains 6 exclusive microtransactions. The Trathan Executioner finisher effect is a brutal display of Trathan might, crushing slain unique enemies as if they were bugs beneath your heel.
That's actually funny.
As a Trathan Executioner, you're the perfect master for the ever-hungry carrion raptor pet. It has taken a particular liking to the taste of other pets, and at your command it will swoop down and eviscerate them, proceeding to satisfy its hunger by feeding on their corpse. The nobles of the 4 major Trathan houses had their mercenaries, but if their hired hands became notably irritating, they'd have to call in the Trathan Executioners. You can now embrace their methods and become brutality incarnate with the Cruel Trathan Executioner armor set. The matching Cruel Trathan Executioner cloak will shroud you in scarlet as you crush the skulls of your enemies and leave a trail of blood behind you as you build up a kill streak. Or use the alternate variant to simply put a skeleton on your back. Be bathed in blood as you mutilate monsters with the Cruel Trathan Executioner character effect. The swirling blood increases in volume as
I feel like there's a lot of
your
good
spree
changes.
continues.
I saw a lot of good
Both
changes.
this effect and the cloak use the same kill streak for tracking how much blood is
Def
shown.
slightly. Oh yeah, I was gonna say Def
After a
slightly
long
excited,
and
dude.
tiring
There's a
day of
lot of new
executions,
changes to
enjoy
crafting.
a
I'm
relaxing
curious
game of
how
dice
rare they're gonna make
with the
Hinokora's
Goblin
locks.
Gambler's hideout decoration. They'll definitely be playing fair, right? The Pulverizer map device brings a horrid efficiency to punishing the damned of Trathus.
I'm curious
Each
how
map you
rare the
open will
Hinokora's
execute
locks are
the
gonna
next
be.
victims. This map device in its true ruthlessness
That's the only thing I'm
tracks
wondering.
the total number of monsters killed, your kills per second, and your largest kill streak up to the
Ooh.
point of the map
I might
being
need
completed.
that, dude. I need
This is then
that.
displayed on a leaderboard, so you can take a measure of you and your friends' violence at the end of each map. Additionally, any microtransactions from the supporter packs will be made available for use in Path of Exile 1. That's enough about cosmetics. Let's get into the Q&A. But firstly, I want to give a huge thank you for your ongoing support. We're just about to start the Q&A with Ziggy D.
Yeah, I hope it's more
Afterwards,
common.
At 11 a.m. NZ time, or 4 p.m.
Okay, oh, that's
Pacific,
just
we'll
questions.
post Path of Exile 2, the Third Edict's patch notes. With the release at the end of next week, our community team will be posting crucial information you need for the release. Keep an eye
The
on the
armors
news.
look, I mean, bro, like, I don't know, whatever, dude.
Thanks for joining us
The
today.
supporter pack's
and
like the
checking out
least
our latest
concerning thing of
developments.
the
We're looking forward to seeing
notes,
your
right?
experiences with Act 4